Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're on to our next chapter, which is ratios and proportions. Some of this you may have learned last year. Unfortunately, in order to understand the chapter, we have to know some vocab. So a ratio is simply a comparison of two numbers or two quantities by division. For example, the ratio of boys to girls is 2 to 3. We could write it as a fraction, 2 over 3. We could write it with the word 2, T-O, or we could use a colon, 2, colon 3. Both of those compare girls to boys because in our first part it was girls compared to boys. So the first number represents girls, the second one represents boys. A rate is a ratio that indicates how many units of one quantity there are for every 1 unit of the second quantity. For example, miles per hour, it's how many miles in 1 hour. So the word per hour means in one. Price per pound, so that's how much money 1 pound costs. Students per class, that's how many students there are in one class. And heartbeats per minute, that's how many heartbeats there are per minute. Unit rate is the numeric value of the rate. For example, in the rate 2.5 miles per hour, the unit rate is 2.5. Unit price is the price of one item or one unit. For example, it might be 15 cents per pound. It could be per ounces. It could be for each. And better buy is the item with a cheaper unit price where size does not matter. So just because you get more doesn't mean the unit price is cheaper. So sometimes the better buy is the bigger quantity, like a BJ's or Sam's. Sometimes it's not. So if I'm going too fast, just pause the video, copy down the vocab. We'll continue on to some examples. Use the table to answer questions 1 through 3. Write each ratio as a fraction in lowest terms. So every time we write ratios, we reduce them if we can. So for number 1, we're comparing adults, that's 24, compared to students, that's 180, and I know this reduces by at least 2, so 12 over 90, that can reduce by 2, that's 6 over 45, and that can be reduced by 3, so that would be 2/15. Number 2, students, that's 180, compared to buses, that's 4. We can reduce that by 2, that's 90 over 2, and then that by 2, so 45 students for each bus, that would be a unit rate. Buses per people, so 4 people is not in the chart, but it's the number of students plus adults, that would be all the people. So 180 plus 24 is 204 people. So there's 4 buses and 204 people. That's 2 over 102, and that can be reduced to 1 over 51. So I'm just doing that by finding a common number they both have in common and reducing it that way. Find each unit rate and round to the nearest hundredth if possible. So $300 for 8 hours. So 300 divided by 8 is $37.50 per hour, or for 1 hour. Number 5, 220 miles on 8 gallons, so 220 over 8. And I would divide that 27.5 miles per 1 gallon. So that's a unit rate. Number 6, Value Mart is advertising a sale on pencils. A pack of 30 is $7.97, 12 is $4.77, which is the better buy. In order to know the better buy, I need to know the unit price. Money always goes on top, so $7.97 for 30. That's one of my options. And my other option is $4.77 for 12. So doing this will give me their unit price. So this would be 27 cents each. And this would be 40 cents each. So the better buy would be the one that's cheaper. So this one over here, the 30 pack, is the better buy. And then it asks, how do you know? Because it has a cheaper unit price. Not always do you get more for less. So sometimes, the more you buy, the cheaper it is. Sometimes that doesn't always happen.